Welcome back to the Lyons Share. I'm Mark Elliott here with Mitch Lyons, the founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. You can always find out more on the website, MitchLyonsWealth.com, MitchLyonsWealth.com. And Lyons, again, is Lyons, MitchLyonsWealth.com. We're talking about building your fiscal financial house. And so, obviously, we're talking about it kind of starts with a blueprint. You don't just start with the roof, obviously. You start with a blueprint. And then what are you going to put in it and where's it going to go? It was funny, Mitch. I did talk to somebody one time that decided, you know what, I'm going to be, I don't know, what are they called if you're in charge of the house? The builder.
General contractor?
Yeah. So this lady, and she was super smart, really successful. And she goes, I want to be the general contractor. But she was in another state while they're building her house. And so she'd sent the blueprints to him and all. And she gets there and like, wow, that's perfect. And then she goes in and goes, wait, there's no heating and air. She forgot that part of it. It was not in the blueprints. So they end up having to go put it on the exterior of the house because they didn't have it in the original blueprints. All right. You think about it.
Oops.
Yeah. They had to go back. Cost her a little more money to do that.
Yeah, I'll say.
And that's why we think sitting down with Mitch and the team at Mitch Lyons Wealth is really where you can actually be ahead of the game. It's proven when you sit down with financial advisors that work in the retirement world, you're going to be 2, 3, 4, 5% ahead of somebody that's doing it on their own. All right, we're talking about building that fiscal financial house. So you think about what is your favorite room in your house?
Boy, for me, it's really just our sitting room off the kitchen, right? We built our house about 5 years ago. We built a great living room, right? It was going to be awesome for watching TV. But the reality of it is what I find is we spend most of our time in this little sitting room right off our kitchen because that's where we congregate. My wife's a great cook. I'll come in from after work and I'll sit there and we generally don't leave there for a couple hours.
Right.
It seems to be the place we congregate.
Yeah. So it could be your porch, could be your living room, could be whatever. But we all have a favorite room. You know what people never say is the foundation is my favorite place. No, but the foundation is the most important part of your house. So when you're talking about the foundation of a fiscal financial house, what are we talking about in the foundation?
Well, number one, when people think of retirement, they think of, living every day like it's Saturday, right? Doing all the things they've hoped and dreamt about. And you need income to do that. Just like when during your working years, you need a salary, you need income to keep, your car payment, your house payments, keep your lights on, send your kids to school and all that. Well, now you need an income source to do all the stuff you've been dreaming of. And again, that's the key is going from that accumulation phase to the distribution phase. And how do we best do that? How do we create the amount of dollars you need each month through a combination of Social Security? Might be pension income. It could be annuity income. It could be rental income. What buckets are we taking it from? Are we taking it from a taxable bucket? Are we taking it from a Roth IRA? How are we meshing all those income sources together to mitigate taxes, keep that bill as low as we can each year, and put the after-tax dollars that you need in your pocket each month after month, so you never have to worry about it. You can take that drive through retirement and never have to worry about running out of gas.
My grandparents retired in the 70s, Mitch, and to me, their retirement's different than mine, obviously. And I'm 66 now. Holy cow, I'm getting older all the time. I guess that's a good thing, rather than not getting older.
Keeps happening. That's weird.
Yeah, it does. But you think about my grandparents retired in the 70s, so they had pensions, Social Security. Their income they knew what their income was going to be. Didn't have a ton in savings, didn't make a ton back then either. But in today's retirement world, most of us, there are still some lucky enough to have a pension, but most of us don't. So to me, this foundation is the part that I think if people took care of the foundation that you're talking about, having income, where's it going to come from? How much do we need? Okay, do we have this taken care of? They wouldn't be in that, boy, I wonder if our money's going to last as long as we need it. This is kind of the part that takes that question out of the picture. It doesn't mean things can't happen, but if you get income sources where that's what your bills are, you're ahead of the game and your stress level goes way down, I would think.
Yeah, I get into this. I like this analogy, this story. I get into this in my movie that I was in, The Retirement Deception, which is available at MitchLyonsWealth.com too. You can get a free streaming code there. But I talk about it. It's this story. It's a guy and his wife are driving across the desert, and he passes a gas station. The sign says last gas station for 200 miles. And the wife's needling him saying, well, you should probably top off your tank. Nope, I've got enough. And he gets about 40, 50 miles in, and now he starts questioning himself. Geez, maybe I don't have enough, and he's starting to sweat a little bit, and he turns the AC down to try to conserve fuel. He rolls the windows down, and she's telling him, you should have pulled over and gotten some gas. I told you. And he's sweating and he's watching. He's driving by this beautiful desert landscape, and he's missing the entire thing. He eventually coasts into the gas station just in time. He made it, but he didn't enjoy the ride, right? And I want our clients to enjoy the ride. I don't want them having to sweat it out to see if they're going to, whether their gas tank's going to get them to where they need to be through retirement. I want them to know that their gas tank's full every single month and they've got plenty to live on.
And I think a lot of people, Mitch, they kind of fall into that category of, I don't know if I have enough. It's Mitch Lyons Wealth. I don't know if I have enough to talk with him. He's an NFL player for 7 years. I don't know if I can even give him a call. We're trying to ease their stress level just making this call, because talking with you is not going to be super stressful. They're going to get an idea about where they are.
Yeah, myself and my team, I mean, we're no pressure, low pressure, no pressure, because at the end of the day, we're just trying to help people. I mean, I truly mean that. I mean, I that's what I enjoy in this vocation is helping people, achieve their dreams. And if we can't help you, or if we think you're all set with your current plan, we're going to let you know. We're not going to waste your time. And then people ask, what asset level? I tell people this: I like to work with people that I like. If you're a good person and we can help you, we're going to help you. I know a lot of very rich people that I really don't want to do business with because they're just not good people. Okay. And there's some people that, I've had to fire in the past, honestly, because they're just, their goals or desires did not mesh with what we try to accomplish for our folks. So, but yeah, just give us a call. There's nothing to lose. And I always say, listen, a 10-minute call is well worth your time. And when you've just spent 30 or 40 years saving for retirement, it's probably worth knowing that you're good. If we're telling you you're all good, great. You got a second opinion, and you can be on your way. If we can tweak some things and optimize your plan, we're going to let you know that. And if you choose to do that, great. We hope you do it with us. But at the end of the day, there's no cost for that call.
We're talking about building that fiscal financial house. Obviously, it starts with the foundation. The foundation is really your reliable income. If you had a pension, it would go in there. There's ways to create income. One of those certainly is Social Security. Social Security is one of those that I think a lot of people, and as I said, I'm 66, so I have a lot of friends that are retired. They were teachers or they worked at a job that had a pension, and almost all of them retired at the age of 60 or 62, and they all started Social Security at 62. They already had a pension coming in from teaching or what have you, and then they throw in Social Security, and they're like, okay, we're pretty good. They also had their own savings too to help, and I'm like, well, that's probably the right decision. I don't know. That's where Mitch comes in to help you. But for me, I haven't started it yet. I might start it in 2026 because I was born in 1959, which means my full retirement age is 66 in 10 months. Born in 1960 or later, yours is 67. So it's kind of one of those, boy, do I or not? But I think a lot of people look at it, if I take it at 62, I'm going to take it because I'm retired. Who knows how long it'll be there? Or a lot of people think, well, I'm going to wait till 70 because I get the most money. But really, there's 8 years in between there where it might be the right time. It's not, I don't know. How do you look at Social Security? Because it's a really big decision, especially if you're married.
It really is. And there are so many variables. I can't paint with a broad brushstroke here in a short radio segment, but there are so many variables to consider, right? Whether you're married, what's your spouse's benefit? What's the longevity on either side of your families? Life expectancy. What kind of health are you in? What other sources of income do you have? If you don't have any sources of income and Social Security is all you have in retirement, well, you're probably going to need to turn that on sooner than later. If you're not as dependent on that, maybe it makes sense to let that roll and get that 8% increase each year that you wait. But so there's a lot of things that go into that, and encompassing that in your overall plan, right? When we run an income plan for somebody, we're encompassing all their income sources, all their assets. We're factoring in inflation, taxes, and all that, and we can lay it right out for you, right on a screen, and show you exactly where you stand today. If you do this, that, or the other thing. What if you took Social Security a little bit later or a little earlier? We'll show you that. And when we can make adjustments. And that's the same software we use each year going forward to adjust those variables as market conditions change, as tax rates change, as the bump up in Social Security is different each year. So that's all things that, as I say, we need to keep you on the highway of retirement, but we want to keep you between the rumble strips.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, is that when Mitch and the team at Mitch Lyons Wealth sit down with you and talk about Social Security, it's a huge decision. whether you take it early, take it late, or you take it at full retirement age, according to Social Security, whatever. But it is a big decision because it's over $1 million decision for a husband and a wife. And if you lose a spouse, the lower of the two Social Securities goes away. You keep the higher. So that's a factor in the married scenario. There's just a lot going on. I guess let's wrap this up by there is a dollar amount that we all need to retire, right? $1 million is what I've seen. We just need $1 million. We got it. We're good.
That's great. That's a rule of thumb that we talked about, right? And that gets people in a hurry and in trouble in a hurry. There's no magic number. It's different for for everybody, and it's also dependent on how much income can you squeeze out of it. Right? You see these commercials, people walking around with a number on their head. What's your number, right? What do you need to get to? That's not the number you need to be most concerned about. It's the number coming out the bottom each month that's filling up your savings account or your checking account. How much income can you create? What percentage can you get out of that nest egg? If you can get a higher percentage, you don't need as big of a nest egg, right? If you get 4% out of $1 million, that's $40,000 a year. Fantastic. But what if we could get that? If we could show you ways to get that $40,000 out of 800,000 or 750,000 and leave the other 2 or 250, to grow in a market-based bucket or whatnot. There are ways to do that to create proportionally more income. And I think that's the biggest thing we are able to show people is, hey, it's not just as cut and dried as you think it might be, that you just got to stick to this rule of thumb. I can get 4% out. There are ways to improve that.